The library is quieter upstairs. Charlie notices it every time he comes here with his mother. Downstairs, there are people talking softly at the desk. Books sliding across tables. The faint beeping sound when books are checked out. Coats rustling. Children whispering near the picture books. But upstairs feels different. The sounds from below drift upwards slowly and softly, as though they had become tired climbing the stairs. Charlie likes upstairs better. The staircase is narrow and made of dark wood, polished smooth in the middle from many years of footsteps. His hand slides along the banister as he climbs. The wood feels cool beneath his fingers. Halfway up, the stairs creak gently beneath his shoes, not loudly, just enough to remind him the building is old. At the top of the stairs, the library opens into a long, quiet room. Tall shelves stretch along both walls. Some lean very slightly under the weight of the books. The carpet is thick and deep green. It softens every footstep. Large windows line the far side of the room. Outside, the afternoon sky is pale and cloudy. The glass is slightly old in places, making the view ripple softly around the edges. Charlie always notices that too. His mother walks slowly between the shelves beside him. Sometimes she tilts her head while reading book spines. Sometimes she pulls a book halfway out, reads the back quietly, and then slides it back into place again. Charlie likes watching her do that. He does not hurry here. Nobody does. Near the windows are several old armchairs with faded fabric cushions. One has a small reading lamp beside it, with a yellow shade slightly tilted to one side. An elderly man is sitting there now, with a book resting open on his lap. He is not reading, just sitting quietly, with one hand resting against the page, as though he paused a long time ago and never minded stopping there. Charlie walks further into the room. The smell upstairs is different from downstairs. Older somehow. Paper, dust, warm radiators, the faint smell of rain drying on coats. It is one of Charlie's favourite smells in the world. Near the back corner of the library there is a low shelf filled with old atlases and large hardback books. Charlie likes the atlases best. They are heavy and slightly difficult to pull out. The covers are rough beneath his fingertips. Some corners are bent from years of being opened and closed. He chooses one carefully and carries it to a table near the windows. The chair scrapes softly as he sits down. He opens the atlas slowly. The pages make a thick papery sound as they turn. Maps stretch across both pages in faded colours. Soft blues, dusty greens, pale reds. Tiny black lines cross countries and cities he has never seen before. Charlie traces one road lightly with his finger. Outside the windows, rain begins very softly. At first, he only notices because small dots appear against the glass. Then more follow. The sound is gentle, barely louder than pages turning. Nobody upstairs seems bothered by it. In fact, the room somehow feels even warmer now. His mother sits across from him with a book open in her hands. Every now and then, She looks up and smiles slightly at him before returning to her page. Charlie rests his chin against his hand and looks back down at the atlas. There are mountains on one page with tiny white shapes drawn along the tops. On another page, there is a dark blue sea filled with names of places he cannot pronounce yet. He likes looking at the shapes of words, even when he does not understand them. The rain continues softly against the windows. Somebody turns a page nearby. Somewhere downstairs, a trolley wheel rolls briefly across the floor, then disappears again into silence. Charlie looks toward the shelves. The lamps between them glow softly now as the afternoon outside grows dimmer. The light pulls gently across the carpet. Nothing in the room feels sharp. Everything feels softened by the quiet. Charlie closes the atlas for a moment and rests both hands on the cover. It feels solid and cool beneath his palms. The rain on the windows has become steadier now. Not heavy, just constant. He watches small drops slide slowly down the glass. Some join together, some separate again. The room grows even quieter. The elderly man near the lamp has finally turned the page, very slowly. Charlie notices because the sound is so soft. His mother closes her book for a moment and stretches gently in her chair. "You found the atlas again," she says quietly. Charlie smiles. "I always do," he says. His mother nods as though this makes perfect sense. Maybe it does. Charlie opens the atlas once more. He turns another page, then another. The paper brushes softly beneath his fingers. Outside, the rain continues across the city. Inside, the upstairs library remains warm and still. Charlie feels the quiet settle around him slowly. Not empty quiet, comfortable quiet. The kind that makes time move differently. The kind that makes people stay longer than they planned. After a while, Charlie leans back in his chair and looks toward the windows again. The glass has turned silver grey with rain and evening light. The lamps inside glow warmer now against the darkening sky. Somewhere below them, the front door of the library opens briefly. Cold air enters downstairs for a moment before disappearing again. But upstairs remains warm. Charlie rests one hand on the open atlas, the other against the side of the chair. The rain, the lamps, the pages. The soft carpet beneath his shoes. Everything feels calm together, and for a little while longer, there is nowhere else he would rather be. The kitchen always feels warmer when the oven is on. Emma notices it the moment she walks in. The windows are slightly fogged at the corners. The yellow lights under the cupboards glow softly against the dark evening outside. Somewhere near the sink, the kettle clicks quietly as it finishes boiling. Her father is already standing at the counter, rolling up the sleeves of his jumper. "You're just in time," he says. Emma smiles. She always seems to arrive just as baking is about to begin. Not because anyone calls her, just because the house somehow feels different when butter and sugar are about to be mixed together. On the counter sits a large ceramic bowl, white with a thin blue line around the edge. Emma has seen it her whole life. Her father places it in front of her. "Flour first," he says gently. Emma reaches for the paper bag beside the bowl. The top is folded over twice and dusted lightly with flour near the corners. She opens it carefully. The smell is soft and dry and familiar. Her father hands her the measuring cup. She scoops the flour slowly. One cup, then another. A small cloud of flour drifts into the air as she tips it into the bowl. Her father laughs quietly. "There's always flour everywhere," he says. Emma looks down at the counter. Already there are white fingerprints near the edge where she touched it with dusty hands. She likes that part. The kitchen never stays perfectly tidy while they bake. That is what makes it feel alive. Outside, rain taps lightly against the window above the sink. Not heavy rain, just steady enough to hear beneath the quiet sounds of the kitchen. Emma looks towards the glass for a moment. The street outside shines softly beneath the orange streetlights. Cars pass slowly through the wet evening. Then she turns back towards the bowl. Her father cuts butter into small cubes on a wooden board. The knife makes soft tapping sounds against the wood. He slides the butter into the bowl beside the flour. "Now we mix," he says. Emma pushes up the sleeves of her cardigan. Then she places both hands into the bowl. The butter feels cool against her fingertips at first, soft at the edges, firm in the middle. She rubs it slowly into the flour while her father measures sugar beside her. The kitchen smells warm already, even before anything has gone into the oven. Warm lights, warm tea, rain outside, the faint sweetness of butter. Emma likes evenings like this best. Nothing important happening, nowhere to go, just the quiet feeling of being home while rain moves softly across the windows. Her father pours sugar into the bowl. The small grains slide over the flour like pale sand. Emma mixes again carefully. The texture changes beneath her fingers. Softer now, smoother. "You're getting good at this," her father says. Emma smiles, but keeps looking down at the bowl. She likes when he says things quietly like that, as though there is no hurry for the words to arrive. On the windowsill above the sink sits a small basil plant, leaning slightly towards the glass. One leaf moves gently each time the radiator clicks beneath it. Emma notices that too. She notices many things in the kitchen when they bake together. the soft ticking clock above the doorway, the sound of rainwater slipping through the gutter outside, the way steam curls upwards from her father's tea mug. He drinks tea while baking every single time, always from the same dark blue mug. Emma reaches for the wooden spoon resting beside the bowl. The handle is smooth from years of use. She begins stirring slowly, while her father cracks an egg carefully against the side of a smaller bowl. The shell breaks with a sharp, soft sound. Then the egg slips down into the mixture. Everything changes texture again after that. The dough becomes thick and golden, heavy against the spoon. Emma switches hands because stirring becomes harder. Her father steadies the bowl gently so it does not slide across the counter. For a while, neither of them says very much. The rain continues softly outside. The spoon scrapes slowly against the bowl. The oven hums with warmth nearby. Emma likes the quiet spaces between words. They never feel empty in the kitchen. Her father tears off a sheet of baking paper and places it onto a tray. The paper curls slightly at the corners before flattening down. Emma rolls small pieces of dough between her palms. Round shapes at first, then slightly uneven ones, some larger than others. Her father lines them neatly across the tray anyway. They'll taste the same, he says. When Emma notices one looks crooked, Emma laughs softly. A little flower still sits near the end of her nose. Her father reaches over and brushes it away gently with his thumb. Then he places the tray into the oven. Warm light spills briefly across the kitchen floor before the door closes again. Now they wait. Waiting is always part of baking. Emma climbs onto one of the stools beside the counter. Her father pours warm milk into 2 mugs, a little cinnamon on top. The steam rises slowly between them. Outside, the rain has become steadier now. Drops slide down the windows in long silver lines. The whole kitchen feels smaller and warmer against the dark evening outside. Emma wraps both hands around the mug. The warmth moves slowly into her fingers. Her father sits beside her. For a while, they simply listen. Rain against the glass, the low hum of the oven, a car passing outside through wet streets. The smell begins slowly at first. Butter, sugar, something warm deepening inside the oven. Emma looks toward it immediately. Her father smiles. "That's the best part," he says. The smell grows richer as the minutes pass. The whole kitchen changes with it. Even the hallway outside begins to smell warm and sweet. Emma swings her feet lightly against the stool. The lights reflect softly in the dark window now, the kitchen appearing faintly in the glass beside the rain outside. She can see herself there, her father beside her, the yellow lights above them. the steam from the mugs rising slowly upward. Everything looks softer in reflections. The timer rings gently. Her father stands and opens the oven. Warm air rushes into the kitchen all at once. The biscuits are pale gold at the edges, slightly darker underneath, still soft in the middle. Emma leans closer, carefully. The smell is even warmer now. Her father places the tray onto the stovetop to cool. "You have to wait a little," he says. Emma sighs quietly. Waiting after baking always feels longer than waiting before. Still, she likes this part too. The kitchen is at its warmest now. The rain continues outside. The windows glow softly with reflected light. The biscuits cool slowly on the tray between them. Emma rests her chin against her folded arms on the counter. Her father washes the mixing bowl slowly at the sink. Water runs softly. Plates clink gently. Everything in the kitchen moves at the same calm pace. Nothing rushed, nothing loud. Just the warm, quiet feeling of an evening slowly unfolding around them. After a while, her father places one biscuit onto a small plate beside her. "Still warm," he says. Emma breaks it open carefully. Steam rises faintly from the middle. The inside is soft, the edges slightly crisp. She takes a bite slowly. Butter, sugar, warm milk, a little cinnamon still in the air. Outside, the rain keeps falling softly through the dark evening. Inside, the kitchen remains warm and golden. And Emma thinks there may be no better feeling in the world than baking with her father, while the rain moves quietly against the windows beside them. The garden always feels bigger in the evening. Oliver notices it while standing at the back door with his watering can hanging loosely from one hand. During the day, the garden feels full of washing lines and flower pots and footballs left in the grass. But in the evening, everything spreads out and softens. The light changes first. The bricks beside the flower beds turn warm and golden. The grass loses its bright afternoon colour and becomes deeper and cooler. Even the air feels slower somehow. Lucy pushes past Oliver through the doorway before he can step outside. "You're too slow," she says. She is carrying the small yellow bucket they always leave beside the garden tap. It swings against her knees as she walks across the patio. Oliver follows behind her more carefully. The stone slabs still feel slightly warm beneath his bare feet from the afternoon sun. At the edge of the garden, bees move lazily around the lavender bushes. Not many now, just one or two. Lucy crouches beside the flower pots near the fence. "Can I water these?" she asks. "You always overwater them," Oliver says. "I do not," You flooded the basil last time. Lucy ignores him completely and reaches for the hose pipe anyway. The hose is tangled loosely near the wall, warm on one side where the sun touched it all afternoon, cool underneath. Oliver turns the tap slowly. At first, the hose shudders softly against the grass. Then water rushes through it in a quick rattling sound. A moment later, cold water spills out onto Lucy's sandals. She laughs immediately. Too much. Oliver laughs too. The water spreads across the patio in silver shapes before slipping slowly into the cracks between the stones. Lucy points the hose toward the flower pots this time. The stream is uneven at first, too strong, then too weak. Finally, it settles into a soft, steady flow. The soil darkens immediately when the water touches it. Lucy watches closely as though the plants might respond straight away. Oliver fills his watering can at the tap. The metal handle presses cool against his palm. He carries it carefully towards the vegetable patch near the back fence. His father built the raised beds years ago from old railway sleepers. The wood has faded pale grey now at the corners. Tomato plants lean gently against bamboo sticks tied with string. Mint grows too quickly in one corner. Every year it spreads further than anyone expects. Oliver brushes his fingers lightly across the leaves as he passes. The smell rises instantly into the warm evening air. Sharp, fresh, green. He likes that smell. Lucy appears beside him, carrying the yellow bucket with both hands. Water sloshes against the sides as she walks. You missed one, she says seriously, pointing towards a drooping plant near the fence. Oliver pretends to inspect it carefully. You're right, he says after a moment. Lucy smiles proudly. The garden is quieter now than it was an hour ago. Somewhere beyond the fences, a lawnmower stops suddenly. A dog barks once in the distance, then quiet again. Birds move through the hedges softly, not singing much anymore, just shifting from branch to branch before night. Lucy kneels beside the strawberries growing beneath white netting. There's one, she whispers. Oliver crouches beside her. Hidden beneath the leaves is a small strawberry, still warm from the afternoon sun. Lucy picks it carefully using 2 fingers. The green stem snaps softly. She breaks it in half and gives the larger piece to Oliver. It tastes sweet and slightly warm. Not perfectly ripe yet, but close. Lucy eats hers slowly. Strawberries always taste better in the garden somehow. Oliver lies back briefly in the grass beside the raised beds. The evening sky above them is pale blue near the rooftops and warmer near the horizon. Clouds move slowly beyond the chimneys. Lucy sits beside him after a moment. Her knees are damp with grass stains and little spots of soil. She does not seem to notice. The hosepipe still lies across the lawn nearby, with tiny drops of water shining along its sides. One drop slides slowly downward and disappears into the grass. Lucy reaches over and touches Oliver's sleeve. "Look," she says quietly. A small snail is moving across one of the paving stones near the flower pots. Its shell catches the evening light softly. They both watch it for a while. Very slowly, it moves across the stone, its small body stretching forward almost silently. "It's faster than last time," Lucy says. Oliver laughs softly. "It's definitely not." The air smells different now. Cooler. Damp grass. Wet stone. Mint leaves. Lavender warming slowly beneath the last sunlight. From the kitchen window, warm yellow light spills gently onto the patio outside the door. Their mother moves briefly past the window, carrying plates from the sink, then disappears again. Oliver can hear the faint clinking sound through the open back door. Lucy stands and brushes dirt from her hands onto her shorts. Then she picks up the hosepipe once more. This time, she sprays the water gently upward. For a moment, the stream catches the sunlight, still hanging low above the garden wall. Tiny droplets hang in the air like floating glass. Then they fall softly back onto the grass. Some land cool against Oliver's arms. Lucy grins. "You did that on purpose," Oliver says. "Maybe." But her voice sounds too pleased to be convincing. Oliver takes the hose from her and sprays lightly across the patio stones. The water spreads quickly in dark shapes before slowly fading again as the warmth of the day dries them. Everything in the garden seems slower this evening. Even the water, even the air. Lucy sits down beneath the small apple tree near the fence. Its branches move softly above her whenever the breeze passes through. Oliver joins her there after turning off the tap. The sudden quiet feels larger after the sound of running water disappears. For a while, neither of them says anything. The garden does not feel empty, though. The bees still drift lazily near the lavender. The leaves still move softly above them. Somewhere nearby, a blackbird sings once from a rooftop. The warmth of the day still lingers faintly in the bricks behind them. Lucy leans her head lightly against Oliver's shoulder. Her hair still smells faintly of strawberries and grass. The sky grows softer overhead, paler, wider, quieter. The first evening chill begins to settle slowly into the garden air. Soon they will go inside, their sandals left by the back door, their hands washed at the kitchen sink, the hose curled back beside the wall. But not yet. For now, the garden still belongs to the slow, warm feeling of evening. The damp grass beneath their feet, the scent of mint and lavender moving gently through the air. The last sunlight resting softly on the fence posts. The sound of water still dripping quietly somewhere onto the stones. And Oliver and Lucy sitting together beneath the tree while the long summer evening slowly settles around them. Hyde Park is very large, but Nora knows her favourite part. A quiet stretch of grass near a wide old tree, far enough from the path that the sounds of the park grow soft, close enough to the water that you can just see the lake through the branches. She comes here with her mother sometimes. Not often enough, Nora thinks. But when they do come, it always feels like this. Like the afternoon has opened up wide and slow and full of light. Like there is nowhere else to be. Today, her mother brought a blanket. It is thick and green and a little worn at the edges. They spread it out together on the grass, each taking 2 corners, shaking it open. It settles down slowly onto the ground. A small pocket of air trapped underneath, then gone. Nora sits down in the middle. She crosses her legs. She puts her hands on her knees and looks around. The park stretches out in every direction. Trees and grass and pale blue sky. A family far away, too far to hear. A dog running in wide circles, then stopping, then running again. Her mother sits beside her. She takes off her shoes and tucks her feet underneath her. She does that every time they come to the park. She says grass feels different without shoes. Nora agrees. Nora takes off her shoes too. She places them neatly at the edge of the blanket. She presses her feet into the grass just beyond the blanket's edge. It is cool and a little damp and very soft. Each blade of grass bends under her feet. She presses down a little more. It feels good. Her mother opens the bag she brought. She takes out the tin. It is an old tin, round and blue, with a pattern of small flowers around the edge. Nora has known this tin her whole life. It makes a particular sound when it opens. A soft, metallic pop. Then the smell comes. Butter and sugar and something warm and faintly vanilla. Shortbread. Her mother holds the tin out. Nora takes one piece carefully. It is pale gold and perfectly rectangular. Its edges are neat and straight. She holds it for a moment before eating. It is slightly warm from being in the bag. She takes a small bite. It crumbles just slightly at the edges. The taste is sweet and buttery and very gentle. It dissolves slowly on her tongue. She does not rush it. She takes another bite. Then she rests her hand in her lap and just sits with the taste of it. Her mother takes a piece too. They sit side by side without talking. The park moves slowly around them. The trees shift in a very light breeze, just the tops of them, barely. The grass near the blanket moves too, in small waves, like water, but slower. A pigeon walks past at the edge of the blanket. It moves in that particular pigeon way. Head forward, then back, then forward again. Very purposeful for something going nowhere in particular. Nora watches it until it disappears behind the tree. The sky above Hyde Park is very wide today. A few clouds, but high and slow. The kind that take a long time to cross the sky. Nora watches one. It is long and thin and pulled apart at one end, like something soft being stretched very gently. She finishes her shortbread. She brushes the small crumbs from her fingers. They fall onto the blanket, tiny and pale. She looks at them for a moment. Then she looks back up at the sky. Her mother is lying down now. Her arms are behind her head. Her eyes are closed, her face turned up toward the light. She looks completely still, completely easy, like she has let the afternoon take all her weight. Nora lies down beside her. The blanket is soft beneath her back. The ground underneath the blanket is firm and level. She can feel both at the same time. The softness above, the solidity below. It feels safe in a way she could not explain. She looks up at the sky from here. It is different lying down, bigger somehow. The trees at the edges of her vision frame it on both sides. Their branches reach in from the left and the right, and in the middle, just sky, wide and pale and very still. A cloud moves slowly through her view. She watches it cross from one side to the other. It takes a long time. She does not mind. She has nowhere to be. Her mother's hand finds hers on the blanket. She does not look over. She just takes Nora's hand and holds it loosely. Her hand is warm and familiar. Nora turns her palm up slightly. She holds back just as loosely. The breeze moves through the park again. She can hear it in the trees before she feels it. A soft, rushing sound, coming closer. Then it reaches her, cool and light, across her face, through her hair. Then it passes. The trees on the other side whisper it away. She breathes in. The air smells like grass and earth and a faint sweetness still on her fingers. She breathes out. Her chest falls slowly. Her shoulders press a little further into the blanket. There are birds somewhere above her. She cannot see them, but she can hear them. Small calls back and forth, not urgent, just present, just saying, I am here, I am here. The sun is warm on her face, not hot. Just a gentle, steady warmth. The kind that seeps in slowly into her cheeks and her forehead and the bridge of her nose. She does not squint. She just lets it rest there. She thinks about the shortbread tin, the blue flowers around the edge, the soft pop when it opens. Her mother has had that tin for a very long time. Nora does not know exactly how long. Long enough that she cannot remember a picnic without it. She thinks about the grass under her feet, cool and soft and a little damp. She thinks about the pigeon going nowhere with great purpose. She thinks about the cloud pulled apart at one end, crossing the wide sky slowly. All of it is still here. The grass is still there at the edge of the blanket. The cloud is still moving somewhere above her. The birds are still calling back and forth. The sun is still warm on her face. Nothing has gone anywhere. Her mother's hand is still holding hers, warm and loose and there. Nora's breathing has slowed without her noticing, in and out, in and out. Each breath a little longer. Each breath a little more like the breath of someone giving in to the afternoon, giving in to the grass and the light and the wide, slow sky. Her eyes are soft now. The blue above her has a warm blur at its edges. The branches of the tree move very slowly in and out of her view. She does not try to focus them. Soft is better. Soft is right for this kind of afternoon. Later, when the park has grown quieter and the light has turned more golden and it is nearly time to fold the blanket and find their shoes, Nora will not want to go. She will want to stay just a little longer on the green blanket, under the wide sky, with the smell of shortbread still faintly in the air, and her mother's hand holding hers. But that is later. Right now there is only this, the warmth on her face, the firm ground beneath her, the slow clouds above, the birds still calling softly, I am here, I am here. And tonight, in her bed, Nora will close her eyes and the park will still be there. The green blanket is spread out on the grass, the blue tin with a flower pattern, the taste of butter and sugar dissolving slowly, the breeze in the treetops coming and going, the wide pale sky above Hyde Park going on and on. And she will be there too, lying on her back, her hand in her mother's hand, the afternoon sun on her face, warm and still and wide and slow, like the sky, like the park, like the feeling of a good afternoon that stays with you long after you have come home, long after the shoes are back on and the blanket is folded and the blue tin is closed. It stays, quiet and warm and golden, like afternoon light on grass, like the last warmth of the sun on a face turned upward, like a hand holding yours loosely in the middle of a wide green park, still there, still warm, still holding. The train leaves the station slowly. James watches the platform move away through the window beside him. First, the people, then the signs, then the lights. After a moment, there is only the dark glass reflecting the inside of the carriage back at him. He sits beside his mother in a pair of seats facing forward. The fabric is dark blue with small red patterns woven into it, slightly rough under his fingers. The kind of train seat that always feels a little warm even before you sit down. His backpack rests between his shoes. His coat is folded beside him against the window. It smells faintly of cold evening air. The train rocks gently as it moves. Not enough to notice all at once. Just a slow side-to-side motion that never completely stops. James likes that feeling. The carriage is quiet tonight. Not empty, but quiet. A man further down the aisle is reading a newspaper folded carefully in half. A woman near the door has fallen asleep with her scarf pulled up close to her chin. Someone's headphones leak the faintest trace of music for a few seconds, then disappear again beneath the sound of the train. The wheels hum softly underneath everything. James leans his head against the cool window. Outside, the city moves past in pieces. Rows of yellow lights, dark streets, a corner shop still open. People walking home in coats and hats. Cars waiting at red lights. Then suddenly the train passes through darkness for a while. Just black trees and faint reflections in the glass. His mother opens the paper bag she bought at the station. Inside are 2 still warm cheese sandwiches wrapped in paper napkins. The smell fills the small space between them. Warm bread, butter, a little mustard. She hands one to James. He takes it carefully because the bread is still hot near the middle. The paper crinkles softly in his hands. He takes a bite while looking out the window. The train crosses a bridge. Below, dark water reflects the lights above it in long, shaking lines. The sandwich is warm and salty and comforting. Not exciting, not special, just exactly right for being on a train at night. James takes another bite. His mother unfolds a napkin onto her lap before eating hers. She always does things slowly on trains, as though the movement of the carriage changes time a little. James thinks maybe it does. The train slows as it reaches another station. People stand before the train fully stops. Coats lifted from seats. Bags picked up from the floor. Quiet apologies as they move into the aisle. Cold air slips briefly into the carriage when the doors open. Then the doors close again. The train moves on. James watches the station disappear behind them. The platform lights blur softly for a moment and then vanish. Now the houses outside are farther apart. Street lights appear one at a time instead of in rows. The roads are quieter here. The windows glow softly in the distance. Some have curtains open. Some are already dark. James wonders briefly what people are doing inside them. Maybe washing dishes. Maybe reading. Maybe already asleep. The carriage lights are dimmer now than before. Not dark, just softer. The kind of lighting that makes people quieter without realizing it. His mother folds the empty sandwich paper carefully and places it back inside the bag. Then she rests her head lightly against the seat. James can hear the soft rustle of her coat sleeve each time the train moves. He looks back out the window, far away across the dark fields. Tiny orange lights blink slowly from the tops of radio towers. The train hums steadily beneath him. The sound never changes very much. Just a low, constant rhythm underneath the journey. James feels his breathing begin to match it without trying. In and out. The train rocks gently. In and out. The window beside him has grown colder now. He lifts his hand and touches the glass lightly with his fingertips. For a moment, his reflection overlaps with the darkness outside. His face floating faintly over passing trees and distant lights. Then the train enters another tunnel, and the reflection becomes clearer. The whole carriage appears in the glass now. Rows of seats, soft overhead lights, quiet passengers, everything moving together through the dark. The tunnel ends. Outside, the night opens wide again. James notices the moon above the trees, pale and steady beside the moving train. For a while, it seems to follow them. The train begins slowing once more. Not their stop yet, but close. His mother checks the time on her phone and smiles slightly. Nearly there, she says softly. James nods. He's not in a hurry to arrive. He likes this part. The feeling of being carried somewhere warm while the world outside grows quieter and darker. The train curves gently around another bend. Lights appear ahead. More houses now, more streets. The familiar shape of the station bridge in the distance. People begin collecting their bags again. James pulls on his coat slowly. The lining feels warm from resting beside him. The train slows. Slower, then slower still. Finally, it stops. The doors slide open with a soft mechanical sound. Cold evening air enters the carriage once more. James stands and lifts his backpack. His mother waits beside the aisle while the last few passengers step down onto the platform. Then, together, they step out into the cool night. The station is quiet. The lights above the platform glow pale gold against the dark sky. Somewhere further down, another train moves softly through the distance. James walks beside his mother toward the station exit. His shoes tap lightly against the platform. Beside them, the train waits silently for another moment before moving on again into the dark.